I was born in Peoria, Illinois. My father was a small businessman, and he moved his business when I was very young up to Chicago, and with my two brothers, we grew up in the Chicago suburbs. When I got through college, I got admitted to law school. When I first got out of law school, I had to go into the service. I took a JAG, Judge Advocate General Commission, and came down here to Washington, D.C. I was at the Pentagon for 3 years. I met my wife, who was an Arlington school teacher, and ultimately got surprised to be asked to come down, and I wanted to go to the Federal Trade Commission. I was an antitrust lawyer, but the White House said, why don't you go over to the FCC? The 70s is when I was at the FCC. Dean Birch was my predecessor, and said to me one day when I was general counsel, what are you doing to become a member of the commission? I said, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm pretty busy as general counsel. He said, well, there's an opening, and somebody else is going to fill it if you don't get over there to the White House. I became a commissioner, and 2 years later became chairman. So that was kind of an amazing 7.5 years that I spent during that era. At the FCC, I obviously was there at the very initial stages of cellular. Somebody brought me the idea that we could actually have phones, over the air, so to speak, as service. And I saw the Motorola Dynatech. We got it started and set up developmental systems in Baltimore, Washington, and in Chicago. It was a very, I think, dynamic period. The federal regulatory environment is a very complex and ever-changing one, particularly for dynamic technologies like cellular and mobile and wireless. In the late 80s, I got asked by the chairman of the FCC if I would chair an advisory committee to develop a high-definition, or we call it advanced television service. The advisory committee started in 1987. Finally, in 1995, made a recommendation to the FCC, which was largely adopted by the commission. It started as advanced analog service. We didn't know about digital then, but somebody told me that there was a company developing a digital standard, and I told them, well, come and see me. The role of the advisory committee was basically to recommend a new standard to the FCC. And along the way, we found that digital was possible within a 6 megahertz channel. We worked very hard to develop a new standard, which turned out to be a digital standard, and turned out to be the possibility of high-definition television, but also multi-channel service. And that's the current standard we have today. It took till 2006 for the full transition to occur, and we foresaw that there was going to be a need to transition the country slowly from analog to digital, to give broadcasters 2 channels temporarily, in which you wouldn't disturb current television service for the public, but move slowly into a digital mode. 2009, the whole transition was made. The rest is history. The basic cellular phone is developed into an all-purpose digital system, and I think the new standard will be developed will bring the possibilities of ultra high definition, or high definition certainly, into handheld devices. I think the wireless industry, and broadcasting is a wireless service too, I think has an unlimited future in this country. The only thing holding it back could be the availability of spectrum. High quality, high speed internet access is the name of the game. That's broadband. I think the public is going to want it. It's going to be part of the future of wireless services in this country. Broadband is the key. After that, I went into private practice, and I went to Kirkland Ellis, which is a very large Chicago firm here in Washington, as the managing partner. Then AT&T was broken up in the divestiture of 1983. That's when we set up Wiley Rein. It's about 275 lawyers now. And we have 75 or so communications lawyers, I think, which is the nation's largest complement of communications. So, I basically used my FCC experience to develop a practice. I tell the young people when they come here that if the time comes that you want to get some government experience, we'll try to help you in that regard. We've got a very close-knit family, and our kids and grandkids all live in Arlington, and so I find myself seeing a lot of baseball games. Favorite sports teams will always be the Cubs for me. You can take the boy out of Chicago, but you can't take the Chicago out of the boy. This is something I'm very pleased with, and not only me, because there was 1,000 people that worked on it. This is an Emmy that I've got 2 of them, but one was really a group Emmy because of all the people who worked on the development of digital television. This standard was really developed by the cream of our nation's video technology community. I owe this to a lot of people. You get on the metro and see the people with all the different apps that they got down there. I think the application world is fantastic. Joe Flaherty of CBS and Mark Richer, who's now working on the possibility of ultra high definition television, which will make, handheld devices so much more useful. That's the one thing you learn in this field, and that makes it so exciting, is technology leaps ahead, and I think policy has to struggle to keep up with it. One thing I learned is you can't hold technology back, and it's been very exciting to be part of it.